So today we're going to look at angles in polygons, and we're going to start off with a simple polygon, a triangle, 3 sides, and the fact that we already know that it's 180 degrees inside every triangle. So whichever way you want to share out the degrees, every single triangle, 180 degrees. And then you might already know that any 4-sided shape has got 360 degrees, but I can show you why by splitting it up into 2 triangles, which you can do for every single 4-sided shape. And if each of those triangles has got 180 degrees, then 2 180 degrees means that there's 360 degrees total. And the reason I did this, even though we know in a 4-sided shape there's 360 degrees, is so that we can carry this pattern on. If we've got a 5-sided shape, then we've got 3 triangles, and it's 540 degrees. That's another 180 for another triangle. Every extra side we add to the shape means that we split it into 1 extra triangle, and we're going to add 180 degrees extra for the total angles. So a 6-sided shape has got 4 triangles, and that makes 720 when you add another 180 on. A 7-sided shape has got 5 triangles, add another 180 on, because there's 1 more triangle than before, and that makes 900. An 8-sided shape, 1 more triangle than before, so that's got 6 triangles now, so 680 degrees, or just add another 180 on from the 900 to make 1080. So what are the names of these shapes? So have a think for a minute, and pause it if you want to think for any longer, but otherwise I'll tell you what these shapes are. You should already know. So we've got a triangle for your 3-sided shape. We already said that. Your 4-sided shape is called a quadrilateral. That one looks like a trapezium, but a quadrilateral is just any 4-sided shape. 5-sided shape is a pentagon. 6-sided shape is a hexagon. 7-sided shape is a heptagon. And an 8-sided shape is an octagon, think like an octopus. And you think it might be useful to know these because a question might mention the name of a shape without showing you it, and then you hopefully be able to recognize what properties it means it has. So all this information, which we've just shown visually there, we can put into a table. So this table, which I'll talk about briefly, has got lots of information, and it shows you that, for instance, for a triangle, it's got 3 sides. It's made up of 1 triangle, obviously. For each triangle, it's 180 degrees, so 180 degrees times 1 is 180. Now, if it was a regular polygon means all the sides are the same length, all the angles are the same size. So if it's a regular polygon, how big would each angle be? Well, it's got 3 angles, so share the 180 degrees by 3, and you get 60. And then an exterior angle would be 120. It's always going to be 180, take away the interior angle. But I will talk more about exterior angles in a minute. And you can see that pattern carries on. So for a quadrilateral, 4 sides, 2 triangles, 2 180s, divided by 4 now for your angle size because there's 4 angles. And same rule, 180, take away my interior for my exterior. And the same thing happens for all of those shapes. And the bottom row in that table, in general, means, well, however many sides your shape's got, take 2 off that number, and that's going to be how many triangles it makes. Multiplied by 180, and that's going to be how much angle is in there, how many degrees. And if you divide that number by how many sides it's got, which is the same as how many angles it's got, that'll tell you how big each angle is in a regular polygon. And then 180 take away your interior is your exterior. So there's a lot of information there. I might refer back to this in a minute, but what I'm going to talk about now is your exterior angles. So exterior angles are shown on the diagram there. You've got your interior angles, which are on the inside. And if you carry the line on, you've got an exterior angle on the outside, because exterior means outside. And there's two rules with exterior angles. The interior and the exterior add to 180. I showed you that in the table, because 180 take away your interior, got your exterior. And you can see why from the diagram, because the interior and the exterior form a straight line, and there's 180 degrees on a straight line. And the other rule, which is important, is that exterior angles always add up to 360. So that means that on the example diagram, which has got 6 sides, that means it's got 6 exterior angles, and they are going to add up to 360. And if it's a regular polygon, you can divide 360 by however many sides or however many angles to find out your exterior angle. So let's have a look at an example of that in action. We've got an octagon here. We've got the sides. We want to work out the size of the exterior angle of a regular octagon and find the size of the interior angle of a regular octagon. So method number 1 would be look up that table. So we've got the table. It's got a lot of information in there, and you can figure out that the exterior angle is 45 and the interior is 135. Let's look back at the table. Octagon, interior angle 135, exterior angle 45. So it's there. Right, but a couple of issues with that. Not everything's on that table, and you would have to have that table memorized if this was going to be a technique. So there's another method which uses the rules at the top of the page. The fact that exterior angles always add up to 360 and that interior and exterior always add to 180. So because exterior angles add to 360 and this shape, an octagon, has got 8 of them, 360 divided by 8 gets me 45. You can use a calculator for that. And the other rule up there, interior plus exterior equals 180. That means if the exterior I've just worked out is 45, 180 take away 45 gets me 135. So that's a method which I think is better because it doesn't rely on you memorizing a table. Let's have a look at another example. So here we've got a regular polygon, it's got an interior angle of 162. How many sides does it have? So method 1 from the table, okay, it's not in the table apparently. Let's just check. Interior angle 162. Interior angle, no, it's not in the table. So I've got to come up with some other method. And the other method is going to use the rules at the top. So if the interior angle is 162 and interior and exterior add to 180, that means that the exterior must be 18. So if the exterior angle is 18 and all the exterior angles add up to 360, to figure out how many sides it is, I just got to divide them. 360 divided by 18 means it's got 20 sides because it needs 20 of those 18-degree angles to make 360. So it's always much easier to use these rules than to rely on a table, because the table's incomplete and requires you to memorize it. So what I'd like you to do today, as it says in the assignment, is make a few notes based on this and then have a go at the attached questions. And then the work I want you to submit me is going to be whatever you've done today. So it might be that you've made some notes, submit that to me. It might be your answers to the questions, submit that to me. But whatever you have got down on paper today, I'd like you to submit it to me. And I'll be available in the chat if you need some help.